Well, welcome back. This is Tracy Hanson, Ladies Ministry Director here at Links.
I like that title. Ladies Ministry Director. It's great.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We are talking about sharing your faith. And we're in the parable in Mark 4, where Jesus talks about the different soils. And we've talked about the seed being the Word of God. Mm-hmm. We've talked about the hard ground and the seed being eaten up. How to build relationship, how to discern where a person is at. And so today, in part 4, we want to talk about verse 5. And it says, "And other seed fell on the rocky ground where it did not have much soil. And immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of soil." Some of these parables are so hard to understand. And
they are.
In this one, Jesus gives us an explanation.
He does.
I'm really curious to hear what you might have to say about that.
Well, I think this defines my life for such a long period of time, that I know this soil well. He actually lays it out. And he says, look, in a similar way, these are the ones on whom the seed was sown on rocky places, and when they hear the word, immediately they receive it with joy. Like, oh, this is incredible. I love this. And yet they have no firm root in themselves, and it's only temporary. And when affliction or persecution arise because of the word, immediately they fall away. In other words, there's this, we've had that a lot. Look, I have spoken thousands of times, and you know sometimes people come up and say, I really loved what you said. That was really powerful. But in your soul, you can sense that it's not going to last.
Yeah.
They were interested in maybe even the entertainment value. They were moved by the words. It caught them for a little bit. But boy, if anybody was to saying, oh, you go to that Bible study, and I don't know if I want to have anything hang around that, or anything that would violate in any way their kingdom, it's gone. I mean, there's just no firm root at it. And actually, interestingly enough, I was thinking about the prophet Ezekiel, and it's exactly the scenario that was happening 600 years even before the time of Jesus. One thing we find out is that human personality, human foibles are cyclical. Nothing changes, just like what Solomon said. Nothing is new under the sun. Listen to Ezekiel would speak. Listen to what they would say. As for you, son of man, your fellow citizens who talk about you by the walls and in the doorways of the houses, they speak to one another, each to his brother, and they say, come now and hear what the message is which comes from the Lord. Okay, so that sounds pretty good so far. It says, they come to you as a people come, and they sit before you as my people, and they hear your words, but they don't do them. And it says, for they do the lustful desires expressed by their mouth, and their heart goes after their own gain. And behold, you are to them like a sensual song, by one who has a beautiful voice and plays well on an instrument. Oh, this wasn't that a great concert? And it says, but they hear your words and they don't practice them. And when it comes to pass, as surely as it will, then they will know that a prophet has been in their midst. So it's the same thing during the time of Ezekiel. There's a seed that will come. It's like, oh, I love what he said. I love what she said. I love what Tracy was saying when she spoke at that ladies' luncheon. And yet they walk out, and then if their lifestyle is compromised in any way by affliction or persecution or questions, boy, the seed is gone, and it produces nothing in their life. There's no fruit of the Spirit at all.
Yeah.
Which is devastating indictment, and yet Jesus would tell them that out of his love for them, not because he was angry at them, just out of love. So I think as we proceed, we have to understand, even now it's starting to get closer to home, right? Now, before it was, well, I believe in God, and I love that teaching, but boy, it's starting to touch my kingdom, and I don't want it to touch my kingdom. I certainly am not going to go to, in the middle of Africa somewhere and start spreading it. And then all of a sudden we compromise and we become unfruitful. So in sharing our faith, let's ascertain also what kind of soil we're dealing with, and it may be somebody that's just looking for entertainment value and not actually the word.
Yeah. Well, we will be back with you for our next series part on sharing your faith, and we'll see you then.